I was about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, when our family went on a road trip across the west coast of Aceh. Imagine a scenery of beautiful, rugged landscape, Indian Ocean on one side, and mountain with road hanging on the cliffs and forest on the other. It's a lush, beautiful landscape and probably one of the most beautiful scenery I've ever witnessed in my life. But as a child, my association with road trip involved a swim in the river. So at that time, I asked my uncle, when are we gonna get to that river in Bataili? My uncle pointed a map to me. He was saying that this is where we are. You look at the bottom of the red dot. This is where we are in Malabo, on the west coast of Aceh. And on the top is where you want to be. And between these two dots, there's no road that connect these two places. A 10-year-old me wonder, why is there no road that connect these two amazing places so we could get everything? So we could get the beautiful landscape on the west and the beautiful swim on the east. About nearly a decade or less later, the government of Aceh planned to construct large-scale road network development. This project is called Ladia Galaska. It stands for connecting the Indian Ocean to the Gayo Ala Central Highland all the way to the Malacca Strait. It seeks to connect community in the north tip corner of Aceh all the way to North Sumatra. Was it a good idea? A 10-year-old me might think that was the best idea ever. But little did I know, this project is ridden with corruption. This project will threaten the existence of the Leuser ecosystem. This project is that one thing that will destroy the forests of Aceh. You see, the Leuser ecosystem is this vast landscape that stretches for 2.7 million hectares. It's beautiful forest, and sadly, it is the last place on earth where rhino, tiger, elephant, and orangutan still roam together in the wild. But beyond these four megafaunas, Leuser is also home to lesser-known animals like pangolins or the Thomas leaf monkey. When we think of a road, we think of connectivity. But in reality, in any patch of forest in developing countries, wherever road goes, destruction follows. Luckily, at that time, a whole lot of people wouldn't allow this to happen. A whole lot of people decided to stand up and fight for the protection of the Leuser ecosystem. A number of civil society organizations come together and file a lawsuit against the government, preventing this road from taking place. Donor countries come together and offer assistance. But the nail in the coffin was when KPK, the Anti-Corruption Commission, decided to pick up and arrest the main proponent of this road project, the biggest supporter of this development, the Governor Abdullah Puteh. That was the time when the project Ladia Galaska was killed. Dead in its track, or so we thought. But sometimes big projects like this behave like zombies. You kill them once, they come back to life. It's just that this time around, it's no longer called Ladia Galaska. It's called Jeram Takengon, that slices through the west wing of the Leuser ecosystem. It's called Pining Lesen Tamiang, that slices through the east wing of the Leuser ecosystem. It's called the road network that connects the district of Aceh Timur, that slices the last lowland forest in Leuser into pieces. And this is what road does. Road open up access to illegal logging. Roads open up access to large-scale expansion agriculture. Road open up access for poachers to come in and take wildlife and put them in cages. Road open up access for encroachment, which is usually followed by land clearing and forest fires. For most of us living in the city, the case of illegal logging, poaching, encroachment, it may all sound very far away. But imagine being there, living there. I was in Tripa when the forest fire was raging. I inhale the smoke. It burns my lungs. The smoke sting my eyes. It was one of the most painful moments in my life. I wanted to get out of that place immediately, but then I look around and you see these children. They have nowhere to go. And some of them have to live with this for months. They have no escape. Forests give us source of life. Most of us could live without rhino, we could live without tiger, we could live without elephant, we could live without orangutan. We will be fine most of the time. But none of us could live without water. And whenever forest is destroyed, the first thing that goes is water. It becomes dry, it becomes polluted. Or it comes with such force that it destroys life, it destroys livelihood. At this point, you may all think, oh my God, it's all a losing battle. It's all doom and gloom. But in reality, it wasn't. This picture of forest fire was taken in 2012. And at that time, a large-scale palm oil company was seeking to expand their concession. And how do? They just decide to clear land and burn, because that's what they do. But then what happened next? What happened next is people like you and I decide to not just stand idly by. People come together and file a petition and file a lawsuit and demand the government to take action and demand the government to run a law enforcement against this company. And the government did. The government filed a civil lawsuit against this company, and for the first time ever in Indonesia, a palm oil company who is burning forests, who's burning land, was fined for $26 million. But it doesn't end there. At the moment, Leuser is still facing huge threat from large-scale infrastructure development. There is 4 large mega dams that will be built in Leuser, unless we manage to stop it. One of them will be built in Tampur. It's located in the east wing of the Leuser ecosystem. There will be a structure close to 200 meters tall that would inundate over 4,000 hectares of forest. These 4,000 hectares is critical habitat for Sumatran elephant. Sumatran elephant are the most endangered elephant in the world. There's really not many of them left. In Leuser, there's probably about 170. And if there's one thing that pushes species to extinction, it's loss of habitat. But again, when people come together, things could change. Only 2 days ago, I received news from court that the permit for this company has been revoked. So whatever they decide to do, it will be clearly illegal. Yet, in this war to protect forests, to protect nature, to protect oceans, this is only one of the battles. There's many more battles that we need to win. Sometimes people put that question to me. Which one is more important, orangutan or humans? It is as if conservation and development stood in the opposing side. But in reality, conservation is the very thing that support development. We don't have development unless we have clean water. Conservation support development in its truest sense. By conserving species, conserving resources, conserving water, we enable that platform for healthy ecosystem, which will support our own well-being and for generations to come. We said we love our children, but what kind of world are we living them? And if you think of a conservationist, maybe you would think of the work of others, not one of our own responsibility. If we think of conservationists, you think about that big organizations. But people come and go. When there is big campaign, so many organizations gravitate towards it. And everyone is willing to help. And then we have a victory, and we all celebrate, and everyone left. Who do we have left then? People who are living on the ground. These are the true conservationists. These women, they restored 400 hectares of forest in their village. This is the first group of women who led the village forest initiatives in the whole of Indonesia. If you think of conservationists, we think of rangers who run around the forest, preventing illegal activities. But conservationists are also local community leaders, indigenous leaders, who are bringing together their community and demand that the mining company be stopped, demand land clearing to stop, demand forests to be restored. If we think of a conservationist, we think of a storyteller. Because we can't protect something that we don't love, and we will not love something that we don't know. Conservation photographers help bring the beautiful images, the magic of the forest to all of you. And we think of a conservationist as people who simply love and willing to give everything that they can, any influence that they have, to raise the awareness for the cause of nature. But more than anyone else, conservation movement needs you. Because in this digital age, conservation are no longer confined to biologists and ecologists. Conservation need lawyers, need financiers, need digital marketers, need experts in communications, need storytellers. Conservation needs all of you. Because at the end of the day, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and the food that nourish us comes from nature. Thank you.